But I do want to know just what you thought about the topic. How applicable was it? What were some of the high-level takeaways that you had? What was the thing you were most excited about as it relates to motivating other people?
Yeah, I really liked this chapter. I feel like as a DSR manager now, having been in this role for 3 years, like this is constantly a topic we're talking about, we're thinking about, and sometimes I don't know if we always diagnose the problem right, which we talked a little bit about in this chapter. Like, and I think I appreciated how much part of this chapter focused on your role as a manager for motivation. And I think we think about that, right? But we think, well, if I tell them how to prospect, or if I help them understand the targeted account framework, like they should just be motivated to do it. And I think it made me step back and like really think about like what is my role in them, in me creating an environment where they feel motivated, instead of it always just being, well, you should just be motivated because your job's in sales and that's what we look for and the type of people we hire. Like, am I creating an opportunity for each of them to be motivated in their own way at any task, right? Whether that's we need CQLs, we need QSOs, or we need to add people to proactive. I mean, it can be any task. And so I think I appreciated the opportunity to like, well, I haven't stepped back and like really thought about the role I play in people being motivated or not.
I'm trying to find it real quick, but I really liked theory X versus theory Y.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I'm a little hesitant to talk about it because I feel like I tend to gravitate more towards theory X, where I think, oh, these people just don't want to work,
Yeah.
And that's not the case, especially with how well we hire. And so that was kind of a good realization for me. So when I'm trying to motivate people, I need to approach it more as these people want to do a good job. So what is holding them back, as opposed to I need to make them want to do a good job.
Mm-hmm. When you were thinking about that, Ashley, did you give yourself a little bit of credit or whatever in understanding why maybe you've leaned toward theory X? Like what situations maybe that did make a little bit more sense?
No, but that now that you mentioned that, I think there's reason for that. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed some leaders they've seen people try theory Y before and have it blow up in their face, and it's usually poor execution, right? We have reasons why we think that it would work all the time, but then they revert back to those things like, oh, I tried to focus on reinforcing behavior and it didn't work, and they still had these problems, and now I'm going to go back to managing everything because I'm comfortable with the way it was. We also read a book called Prime to Perform as a sales organization. It turns out that being Theory X actually does give you increased performance for a short amount of time right away. So if you think about it from a reinforcement perspective, you go Theory X and you get increased performance immediately. And so you're going to do it again and again, right? And so the problem is, though, is it gets rid of creativity. You can't adapt as quickly, and then the long-term expectations aren't there too. So it's addictive, is what I'm trying to say. And you'll see a lot of yourself. You have to watch yourself too. Even the best managers, that's why you need a team talking to you. You'll fall into that trap, especially when the intensity gets raised. People start challenging your moves. You're not hitting quota, and you're like, man, I must be doing something wrong. And so you it's not funny. We never revert to the right answer, right? But so you revert to going back to theory X. And so I like that too. If we don't get around to it, definitely think about experiences that you've had or you've seen other managers have where they fell back into that. Because if you don't watch it, you'll definitely do it too.